Ready, set, go. Let the magic begin. We'll ride the waves of joy. Let the fun seep in. It's the Soul Signal Show. Come on and join the flow. Feel the rhythm in your heart. It's time to let it glow. It's time to let it glow.
Hello, beautiful souls. If you're struggling with what to do next, if you've heard people tell you to follow your passions, they're right. But what if you don't even know what you're passionate about? Whether you're making decisions about career, or you're retired and looking for new direction, or you're happy with your career and just looking for something else to do, a hobby perhaps, this is the show for you. If you already know what you're passionate about, then you're ahead of many people. Some people have no idea what they're passionate about, and I'd like to help you find some clarity. First of all, the passions you're drawn to mean something. Have you ever felt deeply pulled towards something, even when you couldn't explain why? A creative interest, an idea, a dream, a hobby, a subject you can't stop thinking about, a desire to try something new that keeps quietly returning to you over and over again? And maybe parts of you keep dismissing it because it doesn't seem practical or logical or profitable yet or important enough. But what if those interests and passions are trying to lead you somewhere? What if the things you naturally feel drawn toward are not random at all? And before we go deeper into this, I'm genuinely curious. What's something you've always felt called toward, even if you haven't fully pursued it yet? Or at all? I'd love to hear your answers in the comments because I think many people suppress parts of themselves they were actually meant to explore, especially in a world that constantly pressures people to be realistic, fit into expectations, follow predictable paths, and ignore what truly lights them up inside. I'm going to tell you a little story about myself and discovering a passion, which, I had been prompted and guided towards it since I was young, but I didn't pay any attention to it. I didn't give it any credibility. I'd talk myself out of it. So I'm referring to painting, like not house painting. I did that, but like making paintings. And, I think back to elementary and high school. I was never exemplary in art. My, pictures would be up on the wall, but it wasn't featured as the best artist by any means. It didn't suck, but it wasn't great. And then as an adult, my girlfriend invited me to one of those paint nights that are so popular now, where you go to a restaurant or a bar or something and you order drinks or food, appies, whatever, and you have an instructor and they put out a painting and they give you a few paint colors, brushes, canvas, and you make a painting. Okay. So I went to one of these, but I have to tell you, my experience wasn't a good one because the place was so packed and it had different sections to this bar that we were in, or restaurant, that the painting was elsewhere from where we were seated, and the instructor had a headset on. So we had our little tabletop easel with a canvas, one fat brush, and I think 3 colors. And she instructed us how to paint this painting that we couldn't see. So we went to do it. And I'll tell you, maybe some people know the painting. It's cherry blossom trees with a little black arch bridge in front of it with kind of a little stream that goes underneath. It's mostly pink and white for the cherry blossom trees. And then you're using black and mixing it with white and gray. Anyway, I did the painting. Never got to see the actual painting. The place was packed, but I didn't like it. And I remember my girlfriend asking me, days later, "Hey, where did you hang your painting?" And I said, "I didn't. I threw it out." And she said, "Why did you do that? It looked good." And I thought it didn't look good. Come to find out years later, I was looking online at paint night paintings. I don't know why, but anyway, I happened to find that one because it's a common one that they use. And wouldn't you know it, my painting looked exactly like that painting. So I was doing a good job. But anyway, the experience just re-emphasized my belief that I sucked. I was not good at painting. But here's the deal. My whole life, every time I would see children coloring pictures or something, I wanted to get in there. I wanted to color it too, whether it was felts or crayons or whatever. I just liked it. And I used to tell myself, oh, one day, that saying, one day I'd like to learn to paint. I thought it would be fun just working with the colors, but I never thought I was good. I thought maybe if I took some classes, I'd get a little better, but I never did anything with it. And I will say, as a single mom growing up and being very budget conscious, I didn't want to put money into brushes and easels and canvases and everything that goes along the supplies to paint, nor did I think I wanted to make the time to do it, especially because, as I said, I didn't see it having monetary or any significant results, not that I would say it's a waste of time. I just couldn't justify the money and the time to do it. So I never did it. But I would always like working with colors, or I'd always see people doing something. Now, fast forward to, 4 years ago or so, maybe 2020, could have been 6 years ago. It was a while ago. And I was at a girlfriend's house, the same girlfriend that took me to the paint night, Nicole. And she said, hey, what do you want to do? Do you want to do an online painting class? Now, I should say that Nicole, over those years, it had been a couple of years, she went to many paint nights and she took different friends and she really got into it. She bought all her canvases. She had easels and lots of brushes and lots of paints and everything. And she was getting really good and she loved it. So I was there and I said, hey, why not? Let's do this online class. So we did it. And afterwards, she had to go teach a class because she teaches belly dancing. And she said, well, what do you want to do while I'm teaching class? And I said, if you don't mind, can I use another canvas? I'll just work on another painting. She said, sure. So I pulled it out and I started looking online for paintings that I liked. And I found some examples by Leonid Afremov. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Anyway, his style was very different. He worked with oil paints and a knife, right? We were using acrylic paints with brush, but I thought, I like this painting. I'm going to try to make, my version of it. And so I started doing it. And it's a couple walking along a sidewalk along a waterway, and there's lights reflecting, and there must have been rain on the ground. I'm trying to remember it now. Anyway, I was doing it, and my girlfriend came up from her class. She was actually teaching 2 classes that night. So a couple hours later, she walks up and she's talking to me as she's entering the room, and she passes me from behind and she stops dead and she walks backwards and she looks at my painting and she goes, you just did that. And I went, yeah. And she said, you just did that when I went downstairs. I'm like, yeah. And she goes, oh my God, I've been taking painting classes for 2 years and I couldn't do that. And that's not to discredit her. She's a good painter. But that's what she said to me. And I went, really? And she said, yeah, Sharon, that's really nice. So it encouraged me. And I thought, okay, I'm going to finish this painting. And I decided to give it to one of my sons for Christmas. Well, that got me kind of excited. I really enjoyed doing it. It was just as fun as I thought it would be. So I end up ordering my own painting canvases, brushes, acrylic, everything I need. I ordered all the supplies so that when I got home, I could do it again. And then I decided I'm going to make a painting each for my other sons and I'll give it to them for Christmas. So as I'm doing it, I talking to friends and telling them what I'm doing, and they're like, let me see. And I'd send a picture, and before long they'd go, hey, that's really good. Do you think you could paint me one of something? And then they'd, tell me what they wanted. And I'd say, okay. And each time it was a different style of painting. So it was fun for me because I was challenging myself to do different techniques, and, gotta love our friends that support us, right? And so before long, I would get people that would be at my friends' houses and see the paintings, and they'd be like, who did this for you? Who's the artist? Do you think they'd paint one for me? And before long, I was getting commissioned to paint paintings. I was getting paid to paint. And, most of all my paintings are gone now, sold. They're just gone. But I had a few towards the end that I took pictures of, and I actually put them on an art platform where people can order prints now. I guess I got a little smart. Anyway, the moral of my story is when you have a prompting that just intrigues you. It could be just some fun, silly little thing, but you have no idea where it's going to lead you to. You could be better than you thought you were, because obviously I didn't suck as bad as I thought I did. I'm not the best painter in the world, but I'm certainly not the worst. They're actually pretty cool. And I'm looking forward to trying more and bringing more and more styles, into practice for myself. But the point is, when you're being prompted to do something, you don't know where it's going to lead, but do it. One, because it brings you enjoyment. It brings you fun. It makes you feel good. And when you're being creative or when you're doing something you love, guess what? It's an energy vibration that you are broadcasting, and what you put out there comes back. We discussed this in the first podcast that I did. It's along the lines with the law of attraction. Okay. So when you're doing stuff you love, you attract more things to you to do, to love, etc., etc. And when you're being guided to do something, you don't always know why you're being guided. It could end up being a career. It could end up bringing you big money, or it could bring you to a class where you meet someone that could end up being your romantic partner, or someone that hires you to do something else, or who knows? That's the point of guidance. You just follow it. You trust it. When it feels good, when it feels fun, when it comes from love and not fear, follow it. Okay, so one of the things I've noticed throughout life is that our deepest passions often begin quietly, not as a certainty, but as a curiosity, a fascination, an emotional pull, a repeated interest, a feeling of aliveness when we engage with something. And that could be music. It could be cooking. It could be drawing, writing. It doesn't have to be artistic, but learning new languages. It could be anything. And interestingly, many people ignore those signals because they assume passion should arrive fully formed. But passion usually develops through exploration, through trying things, experimenting, following curiosity, allowing yourself to create badly before creating beautifully. And in a moment, I'm going to talk about why I think people disconnect from their passions in the first place, and why reconnecting to them often changes far more than just career or creativity. Because this goes deeper than productivity. It's about identity, purpose, aliveness. One of the saddest things I think happens to many people is that they slowly stop listening to themselves. Not intentionally, but gradually. They become so focused on survival, responsibility, expectations, other people's opinions, and what seems practical. And they stopped paying attention to what genuinely excites them. But your excitement matters. Your curiosity matters. The things that naturally energize you matter, because passion is often a signal. It's a clue, an inner compass pointing toward experiences, growth, creativity, contribution, meaning, or parts of yourself waiting to be developed. And no, not every passion becomes a career, but that doesn't make it meaningless. Sometimes passions exist to heal us, to awaken us, reconnect us to ourselves, expand us, introduce us to new people, or remind us of who we are underneath the stress and conditioning. And honestly, I think many people underestimate how powerful it is to simply feel alive again. To become absorbed in something, to lose track of time creating, learning, building, exploring, or expressing yourself. That energy changes people. And interestingly, once people begin to follow one genuine interest, it often opens doors to others. Your confidence grows, your creativity expands, your intuition strengthens, new opportunities appear. New relationships form. Life starts feeling more connected and meaningful again. Almost like momentum begins building around authenticity. And I think many people secretly wait for permission to pursue what they truly want. Permission to create. permission to start late, permission to explore, permission to enjoy things that don't immediately make sense to others. But fulfillment rarely comes from abandoning yourself completely in order to fit expectations. Sometimes the life that feels most meaningful begins the moment you finally start listening to what genuinely calls you. In my book, Soul Signals, I talk about intuition, inner guidance, synchronicities, creativity, and the subtle ways life often tries to lead us towards growth, meaning, and deeper self-awareness. And if you'd like to explore more, including my artwork and create my creative journey, I'll put links in the description. But more than anything, I hope this conversation reminds you of something important. The things you're naturally drawn to may be revealing something about who you really are. Not every passion is random. Sometimes what excites you is pointing you toward a part of yourself waiting to come alive. And now I genuinely love to hear from you. What's something you've always wanted to explore, create, learn, or pursue? And what do you think has stopped you from following it fully? Share your thoughts in the comments. I read them, and I think hearing each other's experiences remind people they're not alone in wanting something more meaningful, creative, or aligned with their authentic self. The quiet interest we keep returning to, that's the very signals trying to guide our lives forward.
Ready, set, go. Let the magic begin. We'll ride the waves of joy. Let the fun seep in. It's the Soul Signal Show. Come on and join the flow. Feel the rhythm in your heart. It's time to let it glow. This moment, it's finally here. The sky is painted gold, let's toast to the cheer.